Awesome. Well, hello, everybody. We are the Veteran Business Outreach Center in Tennessee and Kentucky. My name's Rob Corrigan. I'm the director of this program, but we have other team members that are part of the program. And what is VBOC? What can we do? What resources are we connected to? How can we help you in your entrepreneurial journey? Who is VBOC for and where are we at? That's all things we're going to cover in the next 30 to 40 minutes with questions after. Um, and it's all of these things. So we'll go over this agenda. We'll talk about this great program called Boots to Business. We'll talk about the reboot. We'll talk about hours and how to get a hold of us. And we'll talk about other partners and things. And just ahead of time, it was funny that Michelle said Rob knows all and then covered it with, well, he knows people that know everything. That's the more important thing. We don't try to know everything. We try to have a person that we can send you to for anything that you possibly need. Some things we can handle in house, but there's a lot of other things that we have access to. And I call myself a resource navigator. And that's the primary thing we can do. We can talk about your business. We can help you with business feasibility and these other things that I'll go through. But the main thing is I can operate as a switchboard. When you'll be benefited by a mentor, we can get you a score. When you need other resources from the SBA, we usually know where to send you. And what is the VBOC? The VBOC is this great program funded through a cooperative agreement with the U.S. Small Business Administration, and we help entrepreneurs grow and we help them know about other resources. Each VBOC, there's 31 of us throughout the country. Each one is housed with a host organization. And that host organization, usually a university, but in our case, it's a community development financial institution, a CDFI out of Nashville called Pathway Lending. And because of our partnership with Pathway Lending, me and the other full-time team member, we're employees of Pathway. We administer this VBOC program. So we not only have the resources of the SBA and the VBOC program, but we also have the resources of Pathway Lending, which gives us great insight into lending and what it takes to be financially ready and what it takes to be loan ready and what lenders look for. And we have a very unique perspective on that because we're part of that. And so it's really a really great partnership that our specific VBOC has. Who can we help? Pretty much don't automatically eliminate anyone. If you're not on this list, call me anyway. We'll figure it out because if I can't help you through the program, I usually know where to send you. And unlike some other states where it seems like some of these organizations like VBOC and like small business development centers almost compete for people, in Tennessee and in Kentucky, it's very different. And especially in this middle Tennessee, at this event I was at yesterday, SBDC was there. I was there. The SBA was there. We all know each other. We all work as an ecosystem. So you have great support, not just from the VBOC, but from these others. So if you don't qualify for VBOC services because you're not on this list, you might very well qualify for Small Business Development Center, and we all qualify to use SPOR services. So contact us anyway. But primarily for transitioning service members, veteran, active duty service members, National Guard, Reserve, spouses. One unique thing about our program is military spouses don't have access to this program through their spouse, through their sponsor, like some other programs call it. They can be their own client. Spouses can come to our classes. We have a lot of spouse clients whose active duty service member or veteran husband or wife isn't even involved in the business. And we encourage that. What do we do? Transition Assistance Program has a program called Boots to Business. I'm going to talk about that specifically on its own slide, but it's an introduction to entrepreneurship. We do business plan counseling. We do concept assessments, comprehensive feasibility analysis. That's a really, really fancy collegiate way of saying, is this a dumb idea or not? Does this have some legs? Is this something that can go forward? So comprehensive feasibility analysis often just means, hey, what do you think? Would this work or not work? We can have those conversations. We do entrepreneur training and counseling in person, but we also have access to things online. And we keep track of the calendar and the courses and the webinars that SCORE is doing too. So again, going through us, you get access to everybody else that's doing stuff as well. Mentorship, not just mentorship from us. And my other full-time team member is a former business owner and a business degree guy. So we have in-house mentorship, but we also can connect you with other veteran business owners that are doing what you're doing. And we also utilize the SCORE mentorship program. And so really when it says mentorship, it's mentorship in a bunch of different ways. And we can usually find you someone that has the answers. Other business development related services, that's that catch-all for anything else. Anything that you have an answer on, whether it's something complex like surety bonding or government contracting, we know where to send you to get additional help for that. And then you stay with us and we kind of hold your hand as you go through and talk to these other outside sources. And when we talk about these things, something I'll say up front, and you might hear me say it again, because it's kind of our motto. I don't send you to other websites. I don't send you to other organizations as a big blanket term. I send people to people. So if you come to me and I think you're going to benefit from another organization, you're going to get sent to a person at that organization. And they might direct you to utilize a portal like Scores matching portal, or I send you to a person at the SBA district office. They might send you to a website for my lender match, but I'm going to get you to a person that's going to help you, not just a website. Where are we? We're all over the place. Right now, I am almost about 3/4 of the way to Memphis that you see on there on the left of the map there, otherwise known as the West. And we're going to be doing a Boots to Business in Millington tomorrow at NSA Mid-South. I have another instructor that's at Boots to Business Fort Knox right now, up there if you see him in the Northeast. And then we have an office at Fort Campbell. We teach twice a month at Fort Campbell, that 2-day Boots to Business. And then we also go out east. It says McGee Tyson Air Base, but we're actually utilizing some different locations like universities off in that area to include Pellissippi State, East Tennessee, and a couple of others. And we also work with the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and they have a great course coming up I want to talk about at the end. And it's about franchising. And so it's a neat opportunity, and I can get you to that course for free. You just have to contact me. We talked a little bit about this, that big one at the bottom that says navigation of programs and resources. That's the biggest thing we do. We're one of the best switchboards for veteran entrepreneurs, because if I can't help you, we can put you straight in with the person that can. What is Boots to Business? This is one of our big programs. I just told you I got an instructor doing one now. I'm going to go do one tomorrow. We're teaching 2 days of entrepreneurship. That is everything from what is an entrepreneur? How do I get into the business? How do I recognize opportunity? What is marketing? How do I identify and work in my competitive space? What are the economics? What are these terms and definitions that they use in finance? What are the legal considerations? What's the difference between a sole proprietorship or an LLC or an S Corp or a B Corp or a C Corp? We talk about all that stuff. And we talk about it in a way that if you have questions coming in, you don't have them going out, because we don't do this on a lecture base. We do it in a discussion format. And so as we're talking, people are bringing up their own individual situations. And by the end of the conversation, we have answered those questions. And if not, we've already sent off a text to somebody smarter than us to get that question answered. And the other neat thing we do during this module is we actually go on a virtual field trip in every class. We go to the Secretary of State's website and we set up an LLC in the class. Now we don't pay for it every time, but we set up a fake LLC, and we do that both in Tennessee and in the Kentucky classes. So you get to see that you can do this yourself, and oftentimes you don't have to pay somebody to help us do that. And so we can save you a lot of money. That's just one of the ways we can save you quite a bit of cash right there. Introduction to business planning. We talk about business planning. We talk about business model canvas, but we also can get you to a course afterwards where they can help you write your business plan. And that's from zero to hero. That's from beginning all the way to a completed business plan if you do the homework and listen to the business instructors. And again, all of this stuff is at no cost. Introduction to business planning. Financing your venture is a really underrated module, and I spend a lot of time on it because a lot of people don't know what it takes to get money. They don't understand how much money they would have to put in based on the project cost. And a lot of times they don't know what kind of a packet to have or where to even go to try to get financing. And we talk about all that. We talk about um, not just getting you ready, but kind of dismissing a lot of the bad information that might be out there. And then we finish with telling you what other resources are out there. And one of those other resources we talk about is SCORE. And we talk about SBDC, and we talk about the SBA. We talk about everything. I even include some resources that aren't SBA partners necessarily, but organizations like Rosie Network and Dog Tag Fellowship and other people that are out there doing great things. Um, the military spouse pathway to business, very much like our 2-day regular boots to business, covers the same topic material, but kind of in a way that is mobile and can move with PCS moves. And a lot of times more of a conversational tone with military spouses. And we usually try to pick a location for military spouses that's more conducive and a little bit more comfortable and not a lot of uniform people walking around. It's just usually a comfortable space. This is that course I told you about. If you come to a Boots to Business, or when I'm going to tell you about a Boots to Business reboot, if you come to one of those courses, those 2-day entrepreneurship classes, and that includes Pathway to Business, then you qualify to sign up for this 6-week online program to write your business plan. And you write that business plan with the help and guidance of actual business professors from Mississippi State University. It's an hour a night for 2 nights a week, so a total of 12 hours of instruction. And it's just a wonderful program. And I know all the people that run this program, and I've seen the results of business plans that came out of this. And one of the other unique things about this is you get to utilize this software called LivePlan. And LivePlan is the best business planning software on the market, in my opinion. And the cool thing is you don't pay for it while you're in the course. And then if you want to transfer it over to our VBOC afterwards, we house that for you. You have access to it on the web, and you still don't have to pay for the software. So you're getting to use the best business planning software out there and not spending money on it. And that's really cool. Again, one of the other unique things we can do is we can save you money. This is some very bad pictures that I need to update of our wonderful office at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. New pictures coming soon. But one of the neat things is we're the only VBOC in existence that has a facility on a military installation. So we not only have a location in Nashville that you can come to, we have an office right at Fort Campbell. It's manned 4 days a week when we're not teaching. So like right now, there's nobody in that office because we're just out teaching. And that calendar is right on the door of the office. I can email that calendar to you so you can know when there's going to be somebody sitting in there that you can come in, sit down. If you have multiple owners, whether they're spouses or not, they can come in. You can bring financial paperwork. You can bring a business plan in. We can look at it. There's a lot of neat things we can do with this location. And we have a 10-year memorandum of understanding with Fort Campbell. So we're going to be there for a while. It's a really cool opportunity for us. And then again, we also have a space. It might not necessarily be this space, but we always have a space at the building at Pathway Lending that we can meet. And when I say Nashville, nobody wants to drive to Nashville. This is in the best part of Nashville. It's Metro Center. So it's up in the northwest corner. So you don't really even have to drive into Nashville. You can take 41 and you never even go into the city. Basically, we always make the joke, you have to go to our office to go anywhere in Nashville anyway. You might as well stay high. We don't have VBOC people in the building at all times. If you want to meet at the Nashville location, I do that by appointment only. So don't just swing by there. You can swing by the Fort Campbell office. There's somebody in there 4 days a week. But here, if you want to meet me in Nashville, you just send me an email. We coordinate our schedules and I meet you there. Other resources out there. Who else is out there and what are they doing? Apex Accelerators. If you're going to get into government contracting, and if you want to have a conversation with me about, do I have the type of business and meet the kind of requirements to get into government contracting, then I can help you with that. And then we'll end that with sending you over to the appropriate Apex Accelerator, depending on where you live, what part of the state you're in. And we'll get you touched up with that Apex Accelerator, and they can help get you that SAM.gov account. They can help you get your certification through mysba.gov. And then there's some complex things. A lot of these I've never had any tie-in with, like the export assistance, but the surety bond program, some types of businesses need to be bonded. They need to have that extra backing. And I had someone call me up and say, hey, I just had a contract get suspended, and it was $1 million contract. And they said, and now it's not going through because they said I don't have bonding and I don't know how to get bonding that quick. Can you help? I'm like, that was a great example of no, but I know somebody that can. I called the SBA district office. They put them in touch with the person that runs the surety bond program and found them someone that would bond them quickly. And they were able to turn that contract back on. They even at the same time CC'd the procurement regional office. So the person really in charge of spending that money that was also kind of involved in holding it up knew what the issue was and received a message from the district office that said, help this person, kind of with a finger wag. And so it behooved them to help this person get their contract turned back on, and they did. And it was a great use of the resource. SBA Office of Advocacy to get information, to find numbers, to help with your business plan, a bunch of other reasons. I have access to all their information. SCORE, as you already know about, we're in their meeting, we're in their workshop. Just a wonderful organization. When they say an organization of volunteers, they don't stress it enough. The amount of work and webinars and things that SCORE does with the limited amount of funding that they get, it's just incredible. And there's talk about moving that under the SBDC and other things. I don't think they know what kind of animal they're asking for, because very few organizations could do as much as they do with as little resources as they have. Their primary resource is volunteer experts that have been there and done that in the field that you're in, that want to help you be successful. And that's really what the foundation of SCORE is all about. I'm a giant fan of theirs. Rosie Network, another program. If it's on the slide, I'm probably a fan, but because I made the slide. But the Rosie Network is an organization out there, again, of volunteers that want to lift up female entrepreneurs. And I think it's a wonderful thing, and the atmosphere that you get from that. And another organization very much like them is IVMF, Institute for Veteran and Military Families, funded through a bunch of different ways, but partly by grants through the University of Syracuse. I'm starting to use them more and more because IVMF has resources for entrepreneurs. They do entrepreneurship boot camps, and different organizations do boot camps. These are more intensive things than just the 2-day introduction to entrepreneurship that I do. These are 6-week and 8-week programs with online portions and in-person portions. Bunker Labs that I have at the bottom there is actually part of IVMF now. So that's a networking veteran business owner group, and that's all part of IVMF. So it's really nice tie-in because it falls under their umbrella, and you have access to everything that IVMF has through that. One of the programs that's not on here specifically that we'll kind of go over, but it is this franchising program through the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. The next one's coming up in October. If you're interested in franchising, most of the information that you can find about franchising is from someone trying to sell you a franchise. And that's, it's going to be filtered. It's going to be them telling you what they think you want to hear, so you buy one. This course is franchising experts giving you a certificate in 6 weeks of online training, but they're not trying to sell you a franchise. And nobody is allowed to come in and solicit during this. And it's just, you can get all your questions answered. So even though I'm oftentimes a skeptic of buying franchises, by the way, have a conversation with me before you buy a franchise, please. This is a wonderful program to learn more from great resources. And you want to hear the best part? I saved it for last. This course used to cost $1,500. I immediately negotiated a discount for veterans, $750. Then I was able to get that down to $0. It is now $0 for everybody that wants to attend. And that's through really just charitable donations, other people believing in this program, and other people feeling like me that there has to be a way for you to learn about franchises from someone else that's not selling you a franchise. Um, and so again, the next one's coming up in October. I think they only do 2 a year. If you're interested, email me after this and I'll get you set up with the right people and we can get you in that course. Score, what do they do? Online, in person, business plan and templates, a lot of what we do, but really with that one-on-one mentorship program is a lot of what they do. There's almost always a webinar that is something that you can use. So when somebody calls me up and go, Rob, I need to learn more about QuickBooks, or Rob, I need to learn more about social media marketing. Um, I go to the SCORE website and I look down the calendar. I say, all right, what do we got coming up? So I'll send you links to these classes. Michelle can send you links to these classes and where to go to learn more about them. And score.org, you can also go to more local resources. But always webinars, always in-person events, and lots of mentorship. Small business development centers do mostly what we do, but instead of just for veteran clients, it's for everybody. So the only downside of that really is a lot of times they have a lot of clients, but not a lot of counselors. But we do work with our Middle Tennessee, all over Tennessee and Kentucky. We work with our small business development centers. So, maybe sometimes they have knowledge that we don't have. Um, I was just talking to Galen yesterday, who's down closer to Murfreesboro and also covers part of Nashville. And he's owned several small businesses and he is like a Microsoft Excel guru. So sometimes I'm working with one of my clients. I might call Galen and go, hey, can you work with them to help them come up with a nice, easy way to do cash flow? They don't want to use financial software, but they need some documents. And Galen will work with them one-on-one, and he's a genius at that stuff. So if all of these resource network partners are working the correct way, we know each other's strengths. I had SBDC send me a person and say, can you help them set up an LLC in Kentucky? Because that SBDC person wasn't in Kentucky and they knew that I was doing it. And this person didn't happen to be a veteran. I can take 10 minutes out of my schedule to help a non-veteran too, so it's just, we work with each other and we help each other. Women's business centers, I won't spend a lot of time on that because these are shrinking almost down to nothing. I do not believe we have one in Tennessee anymore, and I think we're only hanging on to 1 or 2 in Kentucky. And so I won't spend a lot of time with them. U.S. Department of Agriculture, I do spend some time with. We have our own veteran contact at the USDA. That's all this person does is he deals with U.S. Department of Agriculture programs, grants, loans, anything that has to do with farming, rural, meat processing. And he only works with veterans and male spouses. And we have direct contact with him. The neat thing is this is kind of go up to the top and then work back down, because then he knows the people in the states, in Tennessee and in Kentucky that we need to talk to. So if you're doing anything with farming and rural, contact me and I'll get you in contact with the USDA. We do follow-on training like the revenue readiness, but also webinars, boot camps, all these other things that you can go to once you do a boots to business or an introduction to entrepreneurship. I also have an introduction to entrepreneurship training coming up. Boots to business, we call it a reboot anytime we do it off of a military installation. But I have one coming up in Murfreesboro in November, mid-November. And I have one coming up in Northern Kentucky, if anybody's in that region, at a new place called Spark House, with an organization called Blue North Kentucky. And I'll also be with DAV up in Kentucky. So if anybody's up in that region and you want to know what's going on, our LinkedIn newsletter is one of the best ways to get a hold of us. And I'm going to send that link to Michelle and have her send that out to you guys. If you sign up for our LinkedIn newsletter, you'll learn about everything I just talked about, and you'll see our calendar, you'll see what's coming up. It's a really neat way to stay in touch. These are the other resources I already kind of talked about, but there's also SBIR, Small Business Technology programs. And there's a big push. If anybody's on the webinar that's manufacturing or making anything in the US, there's new loan programs and new grant programs and new education programs that are designed to help you be successful in manufacturing. And so that's not paying someone to manufacture something in China. But if you make something in the United States, let me know, because there's a program out there that can help you and can help. It's almost free money. There's 0% loans. There's even some loans out there for manufacturing that are 0% and then no payment, no interest for 12 months. And so there's some really neat things out there. That program is not designed to start a business to take advantage of it. It's if you already own that business. So if you own a business that makes something in the US, there's a program out there to help you. The USDA I talked about, they don't just do farming. It's business loans, it's technical grants, it's rural utilities, it's wind, solar. Sometimes they can help with housing, not you buying a house for your own purpose, but with housing in rural areas and that business side of that and affordable housing. There's some programs. Healthcare, education, all kinds of things. So a lot of times if I think your business could benefit from USDA, I'll get a hold of our VA contact and we'll see if they can help you. Just a few more things that we put in the slide. The USDA likes to have a lot of extra slides. We already talked about Mississippi State. What can you guys do now? A lot of times it starts by emailing me. And I send you a registration link. We get you signed up for the VBOC. We set you up with one-on-one counseling. And then, like I said, I operate as a switchboard. If I can't help you myself or my teammate, we'll send you off to another resource and we'll get you everything that you need. That was the quick down and dirty. I've done this in the shortest of 25 minutes, the longest of an hour. We're about 5 minutes over the shortest, but hopefully I've said enough to generate some things running in your mind. And if you have questions, go ahead and pop up. I'm going to stop screen sharing at this point, and I'm available for questions for as long as you need them.
Rob, we have a question of when and where tomorrow is the Millington, Tennessee event.
Email me and I will give you the exact information, but it's at the Fleet and Family building. Fleet and Family up on the top floor. And it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
The contact is me, but the contact at NSA Millington is Alex Young. The only thing I will say about NSA Mid-South is if you've never been on there, if you don't have a retired ID, a retired military ID, show up to the visitor center early and have a copy of your grandmother's birth certificate and your mom's marriage picture. And I don't know what all that required. I just know security's tight getting on base.
Okay, Pete would like to know, would a custom cabinet shop qualify for the manufacturing loans you mentioned?
What a great question, because yesterday morning I would have guessed no, but when I also found out yesterday morning that they say, well, if you make food and you make it in the US, we think that's manufacturing. And the US and the SBA is the one that said that. So if that could be manufacturing, then absolutely, I think cabinetry will be. And that is a really good question. Send it to me in an email again, and let's farm that off to the SBA. I'll send the email to the SBA and we'll say, hey, we have a U.S. manufacturer. They do cabinetry. What programs do they qualify for? And we'll get that to Susan at the district office tomorrow.
Great.
I guess now it's yes. Sorry, go ahead.
If we aren't local, should we work with VBOC in our local area?
Yeah, you can still contact me. We can have a conversation. I'll find out where you're at and I'll send you directly to the director of that VBOC. So again, I cover Tennessee and Kentucky. Wherever you're at, I can get you to the right VBOC. The reason why I try to transfer people to the VBOC in the location where the business is going to be is because a lot of this stuff that we're talking about is state specific. So the rules for LLC in Tennessee are different than they are in Kentucky. The cost is different. What taxes they're subject to afterwards, all different. So I like to get them to that VBOC in the state. And what state is it? If you go ahead and person ask that question.
Yeah, we haven't gotten it yet.
Well, they can email me directly and I'll get them directly to their VBOC.
Okay, what else do we have? Let's look at the chat. Let's see.
You want me to take it? The Women's Business Center question?
Yeah, go ahead. You can look at the chat. I'm in the Q&A.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. All right, I'll answer them as I see them, maybe not in order. Why are women's business programs dwindling? A couple things at play there. Some of it is watch the news and see that they're trying to make some of these programs not for certain people. The difference is veteran programs are going to stay separate, we think. It's an earned thing, but they don't want to have programs because you are this thing, whether it's gender, race, etc. They're just trying to get rid. However, just because when the government steps down from one place, oftentimes private organizations step up, and that's happening. Banks are stepping up, like Legends Bank in Clarksville has a program called Her Bank. Rosie Network has expanded to help female entrepreneurs. IVMF, Institute for Veteran and Military Families, has an incredible program called VWISE, Veteran Women Inspiring the Spirit of Entrepreneurship. So I would say that government funded programs specifically for women businesses are shrinking, but at the same time, private organization and other organizations stepping up and filling that void and saying, we want to lift up our female, not just veterans, but our female entrepreneurs, our women-owned businesses. And there's still a special set aside for contracting, for government contracting for women's owned businesses. So it hasn't, it's just the women business centers have shrunk a little bit. And part of the other part of that, besides what's going on with administration and things like that, the other part of why they're shrinking a little bit is the way they were running that grant just wasn't very streamlined and effective. And so they kind of got a little bloated. It got difficult to manage those grants combined with what's going on at the administration level. That's why WBCs specifically are kind of shrinking down a little bit. Great organizations where they exist.
Who can help me implement systems to buy back more time and get my business in legal order? Probably putting the LLC in a trust, so I'm not the owner.
You're going to have that conversation with me. I'm probably going to talk you out of that, by the way. I'll tell you up front. But then if it gets very specific to where I think you need actual legal advice, one of the people that we're not partnered with, but one of the people that we've developed a relationship with is 18 Delta, a former Special Forces guy who is now a lawyer and isn't just a lawyer, he's a corporate lawyer. So he sets up structures for businesses. SCORE also has some people you can talk to. The guy I'm talking about, you have to pay him, who's a lawyer. But you and I can have that conversation up front and say, okay, why are we trying to do this? And I can really explain what a trust is used for, what an LLC is used for, if this will save you time, money, etc. The short answer is most likely the answer to your question is me. I'm very well versed in those conversations.
Okay.
I want to answer this one because I see it. Is it wise to set up my business as a corporation instead of an LLC? I get this. I say this every class. I talk about bad information out there on the internet. And one of the worst pieces of information I've seen was this guy, and he sounds really convincing. He tries to teach people to become the entity that you want to be someday. So if you see yourself as a corporation, set it up as a corporation, and that will get you the motivation to move into it. That makes as much sense as go buy the size clothing that you want to wear and wear that now. I don't know about you, I would look ridiculous. I'm not going to do that. Buy the size clothing that fits you now, and as we change, we buy new clothes. That's the exact same thing with business. We set up the entity that fits you right now, and a conversation with me will most likely determine that. Oftentimes, I see people that have set up as a corporation. Really, they could have been a sole proprietor. They could have saved a ton of money, time, and effort. Have that conversation with me, and I can definitely help you decide what size clothes you need to wear.
Very good. Let's see, Tim, you've given a lot of information, but you haven't asked a question. Is there something you'd like Rob to answer for you? Yeah, let's see in the chat.
I can't see all the chat. I'm trying to stay up with it.
It's okay. Okay. And then cheers, Rob. The biggest reason is tax savings and raising the bottom line. The internet really is dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. And oftentimes we get sold things that are supposed to save money in taxes, and they do one of two things. They either don't save money in taxes, or this is dangerous too, they save you too much money in taxes, i.e., they help you avoid taxes. Another word that sounds like avoid is evade. And the big difference is an orange jumpsuit and some shiny bracelets. Um, there are things out there on the internet that sound really good, like they're trying to save you money, and they're really telling you how to commit tax evasion. Uh, there's two commandments in business I'll share with everybody. Tell the truth and pay every penny in taxes you owe, but not a penny more. And if we do those two things in business, and there's a lot of things out there on the internet that tell us how to not do those two things, and they're not helping you out. A certified public accountant will be your best friend in business.
Mishka wants to know, what is DEI?
Say that, what letters again?
D
What is, what is DEI?
DEI.
Diversion, equity, and inclusion. It's what's under attack right now at the highest levels. And I won't get into a political discussion on it, but the short answer is diversity, equity, and inclusion at its heart is a great idea that we all have equal opportunity, but in some cases, people want equal outcomes. And so there were programs designed to kind of lift that up, much like affirmative action. But the way those programs, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, it's just to know as a fact they're under attack. There are still going to be programs out there to help specific groups of people. But one of those programs is veteran, and that's a little bit different. It doesn't fall under DEI because veteran is an earned resource. Whereas being a certain thing, they don't consider an earned resource. And then again, you'd have to get in a bunch of political arguments behind it, whether it should be that way. It's just all I'm stating is it is under attack right
Got it. Casey says, I may have missed it, but will you be at the Millington event tomorrow?
I'm teaching it. Yep, all by myself.
Got it.
I'll be there with bells on and the same polo. So don't tell anybody you saw me wearing the same shirt 2 days in a row.
Okay, Todd asks, for someone who is ready to start a business but hasn't actually started yet, what is the best next step in terms of what training with you to take? Is it the 2-day boot camp you mentioned?
It is. It's a 2-day boot camp, and you can get with me, and we'll find out what the next one closest to you and what time frame works for you. And then in rare cases, I can send you to an online one, but I don't like them. No matter who runs them. My friend in New York runs the best one, and it's still an online thing. It's not the same as being in person and having a discussion. So yes, if you haven't started a business yet, I personally, but I'm biased, I teach it. I think the 2-day introduction to entrepreneurship is the next step.
Okay. We are looking to sell and add veteran owners to our SDVOSB.
Yeah.
Where can we find such individuals?
Oh, that's something I help with. What I have a 2,000 person email list of veteran business owner or aspiring veteran business owners. So have a conversation with me, and then we'll talk what kind of promotional material, what kind of flyer, what kind of information sheet we want to provide, how much information we want to put out there. And then I can put that in an email it to our entire client list, and tell them about that opportunity and match you up to have those conversations.
Great. Can you direct me toward investors or grants?
Yes, and I don't say this insultingly, but I have a leprechaun friend that rides a unicorn by the pot of gold. He keeps track of all the grants. There's just not a lot of free money out there. What I can direct you to is how to become loan ready. I can teach you how to do an elevator pitch to try to earn investors. I can tell you about the boot camps that end in pitch contests. Pitch contests often have $10,000, anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000. Sometimes SCORE knows about pitch contests too. So there's ways to go out there and earn money, and there's ways to go out there and get a loan. But there's almost mythical is the time when somebody can go out and get money to start a business doing anything. The only rare exception is there are some cases in the USDA in rural farming, meat processing, where they don't have enough existing businesses doing these things. So they offer money to startups to go do it. It's just very rare, but I look for free money all the time. So if it's out there, I'll know where it is. You can contact me. We'll talk about it. But more likely, it's going to turn into a conversation of how else do I get traditional funding? And then what maybe can I do to need less money? I help people every day get into business needing less than what they thought they needed. And it's through a thing called bootstrapping and a few other techniques. So I can help. It's not going to be free money. I hate having to give that answer all the time. It always breaks hearts. There's too many rumors out there about a magic suitcase of $10,000 or $20,000 to start a business for a veteran, and they just don't exist. Do we have anything else?
I don't have. What kind of funding options exist for an existing business owner with poor credit?
Yeah, it's gonna depend on why you have poor credit. Um, they say that most lenders look for a credit score around 650. So sometimes people think they have poor credit, but they have 675 or 680. Well, that's actually above the threshold. Um, but if you're below 650, then we don't automatically disqualify you. We have a conversation. We say, why are you below 650? If the answer is, well, I spend a lot more money than I make, and I'm really bad at my business, and it doesn't make any money, you're not going to get a loan. But if the other answer is, well, this thing happened, or a tornado happened, or COVID happened, or a divorce happened, there's other mitigating factors. So if the reason why I want to have the private conversation of why is your credit score low, that's going to put us in the direction of what do we do now?
Okay. Would the boot camp be beneficial to me if we are looking at acquiring an established franchise?
Absolutely, but much more beneficial to you would be, they'd both be beneficial. And my 2-day introduction to entrepreneurship, I talk about franchising, and I'm very skeptical on it, but that's a good thing. You want to hear skeptics as much as you want to listen to cheerleaders. But then the other thing is, regardless of what I think, I'd love to get you to that or University of Tennessee, Knoxville, get you to that online program. I just talked to the guy that runs that program yesterday. He's asking me for people. So I can get you into that, and I can get you into that for free. And that's going to be the best place to learn about franchise.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Hang on.
Yeah, I saw that. I'll field that. I know there's no such thing as free money, but I want to learn more about talking to investors. One of the things I'm going to do, and I haven't done this yet, but I'll do it with you one-on-one, but I'm going to make a video series not just using me, but I got this great marketing guy named Reggie Ornanes. He's a professional, and I'm going to hire a couple other, not hire, but I'm going to ask a couple other professionals to help me. And we're going to make a video series on how to do a pitch. And then we're going to combine that with a calendar of upcoming pitch contests. So that's a way to go out there and know how to talk to an investor, know what to say when somebody says, "What does your business do?" And you got that 90 seconds down and you learn how to do it right. You learn what to say and you get comfortable doing it. And we're going to do all that at no cost. Um, and so that's coming, but I can do it one-on-one with you now. But the video series is coming soon.
Well, you're getting all sorts of accolades.
I'm loving all the questions. I'm giving you guys accolades. This is the absolute hands down best group for being engaged, listening to what we said, and then asking more. And we got the right time frame for it too. So perfect, guys. You're doing good.
Tim would like to know, actually, Sean, I'm a veteran in Texas. Can I get info for the online 2-day class, please?
Two great programs with tons of locations of boots to businesses in Texas. So yeah, shoot me something. I will, depending on which part of Texas you're in, I'll put you with the right VBOC, and then they can give you their calendar on those boots to businesses that they have going on. But I know that Patrick is at UT Arlington, and then my other buddies in El Paso, Marcus. And between the two of those guys, they'll be able to get you signed up for the VBOC, and they'll be able to tell you what courses are near you. But they're definitely easy to access in Texas.
Okay.
I want this one. It says, hold on. I have an executive summary and a marketing analysis. I'm hoping that if you have an executive summary, you also have an entire business plan that goes before it. Because the executive summary is the last thing that we write. It's the first page of a business plan, but the last thing we write. But if you have both of those things already done, talk to me and let's put all that in live plan and take a look at it.
Is there a conflict of interest to work with more than one resource? Example is having a SCORE mentor and also talking to TSBDC.
No, I do this all the time. And what we do is I tell you, try to pick kind of an anchor. Try to pick kind of one place where you're going to put all this information and somebody that's going to talk you through it. So if you're already working with somebody in the SBDC, and if it's Tennessee SBDC, I know them. So we probably already have a relationship. But what will happen a lot of times is we do consultations. The only thing I do is if you're working with me and I send you to a SCORE mentor, I ask you guys to CC me on those emails. And so when you come back and we go, okay, this is what SCORE told us. This is what we got from this organization. Now this is what we're going to do with it. So I say kind of pick an advisor that you feel comfortable with, that you're going to deal with, and then keep that advisor in the loop in those conversations that you have with other people. And we do that a lot. I do it with, I have a couple of SCORE mentors that we share a client and we just both work together. It's like getting two sharks, it's a shark, getting Shark Tank and they do a combined deal. When you're doing that, you're just getting two mentors. That's a good thing. Until you start getting conflicting advice and it gets a little confusing. But
Okay.
I can't email you, Tim, just because it's just sheer volume. I mean, I could, but I'm going to be sitting in a hotel room in about 2 hours going through all these emails. So the quickest way to get a response back to me is to email me with your specific thing, and whether it's a business plan or getting connected with another VBOC, I'll do as much of that today as I can from the hotel room. Anything else? Um,
You see, Steve's, my near-term goals with my business is to provide employment, education, and training exclusively to vets who are interested in starting their own business in the millworking, woodworking trades. Could I email you to speak more about this?
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe that has a tie into manufacturing. Um, and I know that the SBA is trying to get money to organizations to get more education. That's one of the things they're going to spend money on. Is so maybe if we're an education provider, as it ties into manufacturing, maybe we can touch that manufacturing money. So yeah, I'd love to have a conversation about that. All right, I'm going to put it out there. Alibi. We've had some great questions. Did anybody put a question in chat that they didn't get answered? Did anybody have a question that they haven't asked yet? That we're waiting for things to read down. I'm going to put my email in here again. I saw it at one place, but I'm going to put it one more time. I'm going to put two in here, guys, and you can email either one. And I'll tell you the difference as soon as I stop typing so I don't mess it up. The only difference is one goes directly to me and the other one goes both to me and my other teammate. So if it's something about this conference, this webinar, just send it to me. But if that other email is you're having trouble getting a hold of somebody, that's a redundant email. It goes out to me and my partner at the same time. So somebody will get back with you. My phone
Okay.
number is out there, but email is the fastest way to get a hold of me.
Okay.
The
I
other
am
thing,
sending.
just something I saw in chat, but also talking about doing consults with other organizations. Sometimes me and a score mentor or me and another VBOC will do a meeting together, a Zoom meeting where we're in this Zoom together and we're talking. So even if it's across the state, a lot of times, or we can pull the USDA guy in or the USPTO that I failed to mention, the US Patent and Trademark Office out of Texas, the regional office that covers us. They'll talk to you about patents and trademarks and copyrights at no cost to you. And sometimes I sit in those meetings with them too. Somebody said they're not seeing the two emails. Did that not send?
No, it went through. Tim, just scroll up a little bit.
I'm going to copy and paste them again. Can somebody else copy and paste them then? If there's multiple people not seeing them, something's wrong. So I just did them again. If somebody else could copy and
Yeah,
paste
but
those and send them.
Rob, you don't have it to everyone. Yours is just a host and panelist, which is you and I.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that's why I suck. I fixed it.
Ta-da!
Ta-da. Believe it or not, technology is my friend. I just mess up sometimes. You know what it is, Michelle? I'm signed into the score account. That's why all the settings and everything are different. When I was trying to connect audio, I was trying to do change my name.
Yeah.
I'm signed into the score account. My chat settings probably don't even look like that.
Okay, let's see if there's anything out here.
Boy, we were right on time. All right, last alibi. All right, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you again for the excellent questions. I will go through and answer as much email as I can today. Anything that doesn't get answered today will get answered in the next couple days. And we'll either answer your questions, set up an appointment with me, or we'll get you to an outside resource or another VBOC maybe. Michelle, back to you.
Very good. Thank you. For additional SCORE workshops and webinars and events, please go to score.org/Nashville. And there you'll find all the workshops, everything we have going. And let's see, we have on Tuesday, the 16th, we have SCORE Connect Live, which is just piggybacking on what Rob has been talking about. We're going to have mentors there. We have subject matter experts there from all different fields. And it's a great place for you to ask questions, get answers, and also network with your peers, with people that are in the same place you are in the business. And it's amazing. Sometimes we find that the peers are able to answer questions and give resources better than the subject matter experts or the mentors. It just depends on what's happening and who's there. But please go to score.org/Nashville, and you'll be able to get all the information. So thank you everyone for being here, and wish you much success in your endeavors. Have a great day.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Michelle. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.